All right, welcome to the Jim Acosta Show, and it's another day that ends in Y and Donald Trump's assault on the free press and freedom of speech. And a perfect guest to that note is Don Lemon, the great Don Lemon with us. Don, great to see you. You and I have been going back and forth trying to figure out a time to talk about all of this. How are you doing? How you holding up?
I'm doing okay, and it's good to see you. It's good to see that you're still in the fight. You're still doing great, and I love the breaking news. I love the Jim Acosta show, the report. So I'm doing okay. It's a lot, as you know, but no,
Yeah.
well, maybe I don't know. They took your press pass, but they didn't take your freedom. So it's a little bit different, right?
Is that like Braveheart or something?
Is that like
They can
what?
take away our press. Remember that? They can take away our lives, but they can't. I know, whatever that was. Sorry. Bad reference. Dated, very badly dated reference.
That's
No, but I
okay.
mean, no, my press pass thing is, I mean, no, I didn't get locked up. I thought my career was going to come to an end. But this is far more serious, Don, what you're going through right now. And I've been describing this as the jailing journalists phase of Donald Trump's authoritarian project. And he's
Mhm.
playing for keeps. And I think this is not just a message directed at you; it's directed at everybody in this
Yeah.
country.
Yeah,
What do you
I'm
think?
glad I'm glad you realize that because this is
Yeah,
look, I happen to be, the central character in my part of the story, but the bigger story, this goes way beyond Don Lemon, and I think you would feel the same way if if this happened to you, because what they're trying to do is decide, and this is a very dangerous place to be in, what protests you can cover and what you can't. And that would go to what wars you can cover and what you can. And I think it just has, or, what stories you can cover and what you can. Just like what's happening at the Pentagon, as you know. You got to sign the
yeah,
thing if you want to report on the Pentagon, that they have to approve it. So it's that. And then the other thing is that they're trying to decide who gets to be a journalist and who's not a journalist. And I've seen, some random stories of people going, "Well, is Don Lemon a journalist and who's a journalist?" It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I've been
yeah.
doing this for 30 years. Of course, is that all gone? Then now that I'm
Right.
independent and that I'm not with a news organization, that I'm all of a sudden not a journalist. It's just ridiculous. I actually had to confront one of our old colleagues the other day on that, who
Yeah, I
wrote
mean,
something similar.
well, and I hate that. I honestly hate that crap because, there's a lot of professional envy and jealousy in our business, and it brings out the worst in people. But as I've been saying, and I've done a couple of hits on MS about this, like, we just have to support you in all this. And I consider you a friend, and a colleague, and of course a fellow journalist. And what are we going to do? I mean, we're not going to support one another right now. Like, give me a
Yeah.
break. This is what's next? Closing down news organizations. Like, we just can't have that kind of thing in this country. But the other question, I mean, but really, Don, like, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Is this overwhelming? Are you able to deal with this? Like, what's it been like?
Well, look, overwhelming, but not in the sense where I can't handle it, and I can always
Yeah,
shut it down and say, you know what, I need a break. But
yeah,
I'm not going to stop. I'm still going to do my show. I'm still going
yeah,
to discuss what I can discuss about it. I'm not going to litigate it in the press. I'm not going to, talk about things legally for which I can't talk about. But and it's not going to, this is not going to stop me, as it wouldn't stop you. And so, yeah, it's a bit overwhelming. The attention is something that, as a journalist, that is that you don't want. I don't mind people stopping me, as they have since I've been in this business, for a selfie or for a picture, or for to say hello or an autograph, whatever that means. But this is
yeah.
quite different. People engage on a different level, and then the MAGA folks are uh, can be a bit unhinged and violent, as we know from January 6th. And
That's
so
right.
that's concerning for me as well.
Yeah, but Don, I mean, to the point that you made earlier, and I don't understand why people don't get this. You say in the video, I've been pointing this out repeatedly. You say in the video, "I'm here as a journalist. I'm here
Yeah.
covering this." That's what I'm doing. We play the video. You say it.
Mhm.
Not part of the
It's
group.
very
I'm just
clear
here
that this is the video.
photographing. I'm a journalist.
I'm a journalist.
Yeah.
I'm here photographing. Like, what
Numerous
part of that
times.
do people not understand?
I don't know. It's weird because they kept saying it even when I told them that I'm not. And I think they were looking at me, and because the bulk of the protesters were black, maybe they thought because I'm black then. And I kept saying, I'm not a protester. I'm here covering the protest. I'm not with them. And they were, they just for some reason could not understand. And I had to keep telling them that I'm not part of the group. I'm just here photographing, and I would say chronicling or whatever it is. And that's it, Jim. So why they couldn't
Yeah.
figure that out, I don't know. And you never, the only time you see me in that going to anywhere up to anyone was when I went into the crowd to interview the other person, the
Yeah.
protester, the woman who was leading the protest, or when I was going for the pastor.
I'm not part of the group. I'm just here
Yeah.
photographing. I'm a journalist.
But anyway, yeah, no, I
Yeah.
mean, and even when you're talking to the pastor, that did not seem like a heated confrontation or anything. You're talking to him.
It wasn't heated. He stood there and talked to me for a long time. And
Yeah.
then, so look, I will just say in this, the video speaks for itself. I mean, they can,
Yeah.
as they can try to do as they did with Renee Good, as they did with Alex Preddy. They can try to get people to believe something other than what they're seeing with their eyes and hearing with their ears, and that's what they will try to do. But I think the video tells you everything that I
Right.
was there doing what I was there doing journalism, which is what I was supposed to be doing, which is what I went there to do, and that's it.
Yeah. And I mean, one of the things we should point out, I mean, Trump did respond to this, and he claimed he didn't know anything about it, which I don't believe. And then he said about you, he said, he's a sleazebag. Everyone's known that. He's a wash up. But he said, probably from his standpoint, the best thing that could have happened to him. I love when Trump does that. He sort of did that with my press pass thing. He was like, well, it wasn't so bad what Jim did, but it's probably been good for him. It's like, first of all, we know, you and I both know that Donald Trump was, I mean, or maybe you don't feel this way, but it seems to me he had some involvement in this. There's, whether it's just griping about you, making it clear he doesn't like you, and then the way
Yeah.
they sycophantically react to everything that he does. I mean, to say, "Oh, I didn't know about it," or I wasn't aware of it. It's
Oh, come
bullshit.
on. Of course he's aware of it. And if he wanted to, he can tell them, look, don't do this. And they would do
Right.
it. Right. And even if he wasn't aware of it at that point, he could say, end this. And he didn't. So look, that's very telling. Look, Donald Trump is a compulsive liar, as we know.
Right.
And if his lips are moving, he's probably lying. And so we know that. So why would you believe anything that ever comes out of his mouth when he has been proven to lie consistently on a daily basis? So
Yeah.
do I think he didn't know anything about this? No, I don't believe that. Does he have some involvement in it? Of course he has involvement in it. He hired all the people who are going after me. Those are his hires. So
Right.
he is involved just by simply being the president of the United States and their boss.
And he's going after his perceived political enemies, the people in his broken psyche, that he feels like he has to lash out at and get revenge for whatever has occurred in the past. I have no idea, but he goes after Comey. He goes after Tish James. He goes after all these people, and his administration responds. The Justice Department is basically an instrument of
And
the
look
White
how
House.
those worked out for him.
And they didn't work out so well. And I think your case is gonna fall apart in the exact same way. They don't have a case, but I mean, is there something to the fact that he's able to get away with this that should be chilling to every American? I mean, he can't
100%.
put you in prison permanently, but he can harass you and make your life difficult, and he can continue to do this to other people.
Well, as I said in my statement after the hearing that I had last week, is that the process is the punishment. And so just by doing it, they think that that's enough because they want to embarrass you. They want to send a message to the MAGA faithful. It's most people see through it. The MAGA folks are like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, get him," and other people are like, "What are you doing? This is stupid." Most
Yeah.
people, most sane, rational thinking people understand there is a difference between a protester and a journalist. And they also understand when they've crossed the line from a democratic administration to an authoritarian regime, which is the territory that we're in right now.
Absolutely. And you said that you might have some important information to share, some new information.
Well,
to
no,
share.
I just had some. I didn't talk to you last week, but just things that I shared afterwards. And as you know, and from my attorney, that we served the prosecutors with 2 pages of demands for what they claim is evidence. Last week we announced our intention for this case to have the grand jury transcripts released to show the charges are baseless. And we made it clear that we will move to dismiss the charges as violating the First Amendment. And so, that's directly from my attorney. That's what I can share with you, and that's what has been shared publicly. And so, that's where we are right now. So I am going to fight this.
Good. Well, and with my press pass case, we had to go to federal court, and we fought this on due process grounds and First Amendment grounds. But the lawyer that we had at the time, Ted Olson, the famous Ted Olson, who was in the Bush v. Gore case and lots of other cases over the years, said that we had a better chance on due process grounds. But it sounds like you're going to fight this out on First Amendment grounds. I mean, I think there's also the element of vengeful prosecution, that the judge could just look at this and say, this is obviously a personal vendetta here.
Look, you'll have to ask the attorneys about that. I think maybe that may be getting ahead a little bit too much. I think the thing is to fight this one and see what happens next. But I have heard other folks say similarly. I've heard someone sent me a clip of Eli Honig saying that. Someone sent me a clip of what's his name over on Midas, the one who, gosh, why can't I think of his name? Anyways, who is an attorney, and gosh, I forget. But anyway, he says something similarly. But that's what I'm hearing from them. I don't know that. I'm not an attorney, and I think that if we get to that bridge, we'll cross it when we get to it. If we get to it.
And I'm sure you saw the Colbert thing. I mean, they're going after Colbert. But look at James Tallarico. He raises $2.5 million. Colbert gets more views on YouTube than he did on CBS. There's something about the way they're going about this that it's boomeranging, it's backfiring on them. It's helped you. It's elevated your platforms, which is wonderful. We're all grateful to see that.
Oh, Donald Trump, I guess, says he thinks that all the press is good for him, but not now. I think he's lost it as it relates to what's going on, knowing what's happening in the zeitgeist and having a feel of where public sentiment is. I think he and his administration have missed the boat on this one. And look, it's not just my algorithm. It's conservatives who tell me the same thing. Like, we don't like what's happening. We don't agree with what they're doing. This is not, people all the time. Don, I don't agree with much, that you say or that's on your show, but this is wrong. I'm a conservative. I'm a Trump supporter. This is terrible. This is not good for us. They don't understand it. And so I think that they have completely misjudged how people are going to feel about this, just as they completely misjudged how people feel and would accept those ICE goons on the streets rounding up people without due process, dragging women across the ice, across the ground, nursery school, preschool teachers, parents who are in the pickup line for school, kids, infants. They completely misjudge that, which is why they are rejiggering their whole approach to ICE now in Minnesota and beyond, and they're pulling people out to try to change public sentiment so that their poll numbers will be better. They've just missed the boat. And I believe Donald Trump does not understand that. I think that he is clueless as to what's going on, and he has people in his ear who are telling him the exact opposite of what they should be telling him.
Yeah, I mean, they're the ones that have the problem in Minnesota, not you, Don. And the other thing is that Pam Bondi has bigger problems, it seems to me.
But Jim, the Dow is at $50,000. Why are you laughing, Jim? I mean, you're a good stock trader. Like, I hear that. I mean, the Dow and then the NASDAQ is at 7,000. I mean, come on.
They got to get Pam on CNBC or something. But here's the other thing. They've arrested you, Don. But have they arrested anybody in the Jeffrey Epstein case? All these files, all these clowns that have, been revealed and exposed as being pedophiles and freaks. Why aren't we rounding those assholes up?
No, and as far as I know, no one has been detained as it relates to the death of Alex Preddy, who was a law-abiding gun carrying person, right? Who had the right to carry, or Renee Good, and just detained and questioned and investigated. So I'm not saying that they're guilty, but no one has been charged or investigated or brought in for questioning that we know about, because they are withholding the information from local authorities and even trying to get local people, not allowing local people to file charges against the ICE officers or to even investigate the ICE officers. And look at all the people who are mentioned in the Epstein files, including and especially the president of the United States, who's mentioned more times than anyone, except for, I believe, Jeffrey Epstein and maybe Ghislaine Maxwell in the Epstein files. They're not asking him. They're not hauling him down into Washington in front of a congressional or a Senate subcommittee or any sort, even in front of someone to do a deposition of some sort. No one is asking him to do it, but they're asking Bill Clinton to do it. And Bill Clinton hasn't been president since what, the late 1990s. So, hey,
people can figure this stuff out. People
Yeah.
can figure this stuff out. And I think when Donald Trump is in the Epstein files 38,000 times, there's got to be one of those times where there's a problem. It just seems to me like, do we know that? We don't know that for a fact, but it just seems to me that there's probably.
Look, we're only left to our own devices if they're not being transparent about it. I mean,
Yeah.
and if they're not offering context, if they're not, if they are redacting parts of the files that should not be redacted, how are we to know? And why should we believe them? Again, he's a compulsive liar. The fish rots from the head, so everyone below him falls into that, and they can just lie as well, and pretty much with impunity as long as it's federal. That's why they don't want the local people investigating, because they can't pardon those folks if they are found to be, to have some liability.
That's right. Yeah. No, we need to release the Don Lemon files while we're at it. I want to get to the bottom of the Don.
That's
Lemon
what my
files.
attorney's asking, to release the grand
You
jury
want the Don Lemon
transcript.
files released? We need those documents. We need to see what the hell's going on. Because Pam Bondi was emailing somebody at the White House. You just know that they were doing. When my press pass got taken away, you asked Miles Taylor, whoever the communications guy was at the time, the former Fox guy, Bill Shine, apparently went into the Trump Hotel in D.C. and was like, touting the fact, we got his press pass. Behind the scenes, they were fucking with you.
Jim, they're not just doing it behind the scenes. They're on like conservative talk shows saying that we're going to go to the ends of the earth this is not, they're not hiding it. I mean, Donald Trump tweeted, I should go to prison for 40 years. And then he called me, as you said, a sleazebag. Now, as far as I know, and not as far as I know that I have not cheated on every wife that I've had, because I haven't had any wives. I've only had one husband, not cheated. I have not slept with any or paid off any porn stars that I have slept with. I have not, and beyond that, another porn star. I have not cheated on someone when I had an infant child at home. I have not been convicted of 34 felony counts of anything. I have not been found liable in a civil court for sexual abuse or sexually assaulting anyone. And he has the nerve to call me a sleazebag.
Sounds pretty sleazy.
I mean, there's
a pot and the kettle thing. I don't know. Yeah.
If you look at the definition of sleazebag, I think there might be a big picture of Donald Trump right next to it in the dictionary. I'm just saying.
I think if you were to ask the American people who is the biggest sleazebag in America, I think it would be Donald Trump. Is there?
Yeah.
I mean, is there a biggest sleazebag besides Donald Trump? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I mean, besides, when he was alive, Jeffrey Epstein, but I think that's about it.
He no longer qualifies.
No.
I want to let you go in just a moment. The one thing I wanted to tell you, Don, is that when I first heard that this had happened to you, I wanted to tell you how terribly worried I was about you. And I was worried that you were in jail overnight and what that experience was like, because people don't deserve to go through something like that when they haven't done anything wrong. And it just seems to me it was another. The cruelty is the point, is the phrase that's often used about immigration. But I think they were trying to hurt you. And I think the American people need to understand how terribly and deeply and profoundly wrong that is. So I just want you to know you got a lot of support behind you. And maybe you don't feel it all the time and you see people sniping and saying stupid shit, but you have a lot of support behind you, Don.
Thank you, Jim Acosta. Thank you. I appreciate that. And at a more appropriate time when I can share more about that experience, you'll be one of the first people I share it with. But I would just, not all federal agents are alike. Let's just put it that way. And there's a difference between the career people who are committed to obeying the Constitution and the rule of law and protocol, and then those other people who are out there with 47 days of experience. Those are
Yeah.
not the same.
And you had some folks who were being decent, it seems.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
That's
Yeah.
good. What's next, Don? What do you got next? Can you focus on other things besides all
Yeah, look,
this?
I do, Jim. So you remember when and being produced, how much like I was produced
Right.
a lot when I did 2 hours a night. I had to rely on my producers a lot because
Yep.
doing a 2 hour live show, as you know, is a lot of work, right? And so I'm being
Yeah.
produced right now. And so after this, I have my pre-show meeting, but I've already had the pre-show meeting just before you. And then so just before the show, I'm going over, and then I do my 5 o'clock show live on YouTube. And then after that, I have a sold out show here at City Winery with D.L. Hughley. And then
Good.
and then I jump on a plane and go back to New York. And then next week I'm in DC for the State of the Union. So you know how it is.
Good. Well,
Yeah.
if anytime you need me, and I know you always reach out, I'm happy to help you out in any way that I can. I'm always here for you. Just wanted you to know that you are supported. We have your
Thank
back.
you. Thank you. I
Um,
really appreciate it. And I thank you. I thank you for that support. Every time I call Jim, he's like, before I can hit send, he's like, yep, I'm there. And same for me. I've been a little bit late. I have been a bad fellow
No.
independent journalist because I didn't get to you fast enough. That I feel that. I
No,
admit I didn't.
as I said earlier, what I was going through when I lost my press pass pales in comparison to getting arrested. But I was losing my mind during that entire 2-week period. There's
Yeah.
just a lot.
And you
going
had your
on.
phone. I don't have my phone. So
Oh,
people are
exactly.
texting me and I don't, I haven't I have to, they're like, I texted you. I'm like, I didn't see it. I don't have a phone,
Yeah.
so.
Well, and I had Jeff Zucker saying, Jim, I need to tell you something right now. Do not fuck this up. That was what Jeff was telling me. So I did have that added pressure of Jeff Zucker saying, do not fuck this up.
I
had
heard
Ron
that
Anderson
from a
that
lot
night
of people like Jeff Zucker and a lot of people who have a lot of experience in this because they're like, just don't fuck it up. And
Yeah.
basically they're just like, just shut the fuck up.
It's good advice. It's good
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah.
Well, Don, I know you're not going to fuck it up. You're going to be great, but thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. I won't hold you up anymore, but best of luck. Anything I can
Thank
do,
you,
I'm there
Jim.
for you.
I'm
right.
proud to be your friend, and I'm so proud of what you're doing as an independent journalist. And everybody, make sure you support Jim. Make sure you're subscribed and you're a member and all of the platforms. Okay? So thank you,
All
sir.
of
Good to
those
see you.
things. Good
Thank
to
you.
see you. All right. Take
Thanks.
care, Don. All right. God bless.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.